There is no terrible way to win. There is only winning.
Let me drive. I will make a fool out of you.
Every one of us has to find a reason to do this. You do it because you're driven.
I was beginning to think I'd never be anything more than a piston-happy lead-foot punk. Then this starts to happen.
Somebody put it in your mind you gotta be perfect every time out or you're a failure. Well, forget that. Just forget it.
You ready to put away your toys and grow up? Are you ready to make more money in 1 year than your father made in his whole life? Are you ready to become a real race car driver?
When I won it was probably the last time I ever felt pure victory.
Because I'm quicker than all of you.
And if you no longer go for a gap that exists, you're no longer a racing driver.
But hell, isn't that what we're in this for? To stare death in the face and to cheat it? Like, come on, there's nobility in that. It's like being knights.
No pressure. Nobody breathing down my back, just driving because I left it pure.
A lot of people go through life doing things badly. Racing is important to men who do it well. When you're racing, it's life. Anything that happens before or after, it's just waiting.
I just hope when you do, that I'm there to see it.
Racing. That's the name of the game, isn't it? Win or lose, put up or shut up.
Fine. Then let's race.
Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first opening round of the Custom Racewear Formula 3 iRacing Championship in association with Danforth Racing and Go Bobby UK. My name's Alex Goldschmidt, your presenter for this evening. First of 4 rounds here with the Dallara F312, and we are at the Autodromo Enzo e Dino Ferrari. Joining me as our main commentator for this event is Danforth Racing CEO and Chairman, Mr. Jake Sanson. Good evening, Jake.
Good evening, Alex. Really excited about tonight's action. It's iRacing. It's the Formula 3 car, one of my favourite single-seaters in the entire world. It is, of course, the Custom Racewear True, but also there's going to be so many brilliant racing drivers from all 4 corners of the world and all disciplines of motorsport who are heading out on circuit, about to give us plenty of drama and action here at the Autodromo Enzo e Dino Ferrari in Imola in Italy, and we are very excited about what is occurring. Qualifying about to get underway here, and we are very excited about what we're about to witness.
So the format, for those wondering about how this is going to happen, we've got here at Imola in a week's time. It is at Silverstone for the Grand Prix circuit in 2008. Then it's the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, as they say in Canada, on the 6th of June, and then the final round will head to Circuit Park Zandvoort on the 13th of June. The format will be as follows. We'll have a 20-minute practice and a 10-minute qualification session, which is currently underway. Then a 12-minute sprint race with a rolling start formation. The second race will start with a 10-minute warm-up session, a 20-minute feature race, and what's more, it's a standing start with a reverse top 10 grid. Jake, that has the anticipation going through me like a howitzer.
Yeah, I'm very keen to see how these guys get on. Obviously, this is a very tough circuit. It hasn't been used in Formula 1 since 2006, but it's still one of the most aggressive, one of the most abrasive circuits in Europe. And these cars are very much for those who like their racing, think fast and furious. There's a lot of downforce on these cars. They're obviously going to be working very hard to get themselves up to the fastest possible qualifying laps early doors, so it is going to be a very fierce battle, and we've got some big names out there as well, so there's plenty to get excited about.
There definitely is, and of course there's the likes of Aidan Neat, son of BTCC returnee Andy, who rejoined the motorway squad for 2020, obviously before everything happened. We've got the likes of Callum Bradshaw, multi-time successful X30 driver. He's been a twice Vice World Champion in X30. He's also been the European IAME X30 Euro Series Vice Champion. He's also been in the CIK FIA along with X30, and his goal, being a paid athlete in motorsport, there's definitely very much a high aspiration there, isn't it?
That's it. I think everybody in the world of racing would love to be in a position where they are essentially racing for their main source of income. That is essentially what every racing driver does and what they crave. So it's always going to be very difficult to know who's going to get there, but with ambition like these guys have, there's definitely going to be some big names who are going to get there.
So just around 3 minutes in, and it looks like we have somebody definitely leading the way in terms of the qualification side of things. Looks like Chelmsford's Michael Preston leading the way, the number 15. Then we've got Elliot Mason in the 25, Thomas King, Harry Smithson, Ben White. I also spot the 7th place driver, Mathieu Gauthier Thornton. Very good friends with Ben Bishop, who with Custom Racewear have helped to bring this together with Simultech Motorsport as well. Mathieu actually was in the same final as Custom Racewear's very own Ben Bishop, who actually ended up runner-up that year in 2015. So there's a lot of talent up and down the order. Piers Pryor, I mean, that name needs no introduction really. But I've had an interesting bit of information thanks to the reference to Sim. And he said that he's using a homemade sim rig that he's using from the university house basement with some timber, eBay, and it's also got an armchair bought off eBay. So yeah, very, very interesting that way, isn't it?
Always amazing to see what these guys have in terms of various different bits of equipment. Everybody has a different format and everybody has a different method by where they go sim racing to this level, so it's always going to be very tricky, always going to be very intense once they get going, but these guys know what to expect and they know exactly how things are going to go today, hopefully. That's
very, very true. I see some familiar faces from Rye House Pro Karts, including the likes of Sam Reed, who had Custom Rods to the 2019 RHPK Championship last year. Sammy Venables, who was also teammate to Ben Bishop at Helicopter Services, who are two-time defending champions. Ben and I have had a bit of a joke earlier on today. I said, well, Sammy normally runs with a pair of Scott Free boots, which earned him the nickname on the grid via me, Mr. 210. And then Ben went, well, his Custom Racewear suit is definitely worth 2/10. So who knows if that might help him today. We'll find out very, very soon. So top 9. Separated by just over 1.8 seconds in a minute, as we've got Yves Baltas based over in New York City, but has been racing in continental Europe over the past couple of seasons, Euro Formula Open and amongst others. He's just 18 years of age. He did Euro Formula Open 2 years ago before he went to Formula Renault last year, and he actually started testing the winter cars at age 13 and did British Formula before at the age of 14, and then moved into F3 to do some testing, which meant his change and segue into Euro Formula Open. We've also got the likes of Girona's Javier Loveras, started getting behind the wheel of karts at the age of 3, raced nationally in Spain until 2010 and made his single-seater debut in 2016, racing in Spanish Formula 4 and Northern European Zone. Second in the Spanish Championships for 3 years, and an interesting bit of information about this 20-year-old. He was first at the Barcelona running of the Corventic 24-hour series in GT4 class, and also secured wins and multiple podiums throughout his prowess in single-seaters. And quite a few others. Max Meyer, or Maximus Meyer, as we might know him, for those in the karting fraternity. Jess Hawkins, I know, has been competing in this. She was 12th overall in W Series last year. She's a Custom Racewear ambassador. She loves her barbell hats, just like Jade Edwards, and she also does all the stunt driving with Land Rover, but I haven't seen her show up on the time sheets, but we will find out. But the top 20 now, Jake has separated by 8.8 seconds. Jake is not only commentating, but he's also doing a very good job with our stream on the official Downforce Racing UK YouTube channel. So at the minute, just looking through the times. Oh well, it's not that. It's a little bit closer than I think maybe some drivers might want to have. As Wilson leads from Baltas, and they are separated by 81 thousandths of a second. Colin Sanseri, 22 years old, from Hoddesdon. I know him from March Racing. Very good young man. He's 1.487 seconds in the number 55, so he's doing a really good job there. As Gauthier Thornton in the 44 goes quickest by just 17 thousandths, with around just over 2 minutes 20 seconds in the second. First goes up to P13. White in the 21 goes up to 8th position. The qualifying session looks to have been completed. So, as it sounds like the stream is, I think, is just started to come back up and running. So there are around 30 drivers competing in this first round. And it looks like Wilson, and that will be Teddy Wilson, as who is also a Custom Racewear ambassador, has taken provisional pole position in 1 minute 38.334. Gauthier Thornton, Yves Baltas, Mitchell, Preston, Mills, Meyer, King, Venables and Aidan Neat round out the top 10, separated by just over 1 second. Gobert from France is in 11th, ahead of the number 21 of White, with the Spaniard Loveras in 13th, Dory in 14th, Russell in 15th. So we go into our first of 2 races here at Imola. 12 minutes in duration. Rolling start. And in many respects, it could be an exciting development here. So we've got a couple of minutes until the race, the first race of the 2020 Custom Racewear Formula 3 iRacing Championship gets underway here in Italy. The Autodromo Enzo Idino Ferrari is based just 40 kilometers east of Bologna, and it is one of the few major international circuits to run in anti-clockwise direction. It's named after the late founder of both Scuderia Ferrari and his son Alfredo. So the Porsche safety car is at the front of the field, ahead of getting the race underway. Well, I might leave it now to our commentator, Jake Sanson, to get things underway with our grid for race 1 of the Custom Racewear Formula 3 iRacing Championship here at Imola.
Thank you, Alex. So it's going to be a tough one with Teddy Wilson on the front of the grid, to Gauthier Thornton in second place from Yves Baltas and Sandy Mitchell on the second row of the grid. Then it'll be Michael Preston and Connor Mills on row 3 from Maximus Meyer and Thomas King on the fourth row of the grid. Sammy Venables in P9, and then Aidan Neat in 10th position on the grid from Galbert and Ben White, and then it is Xavier Loveras and Jamie Dory. Philip Russell starts in P15 from Mike Hurd, and then Elliot Mason and Colin Sanzeri with Dave Cyrus and Austin Foster on the 10th row. Then Stephen Healy and Harry Smithson with Matt Coriana and Jamie Jakins. Then Piers Pryor along with 26th on the grid Ben Bishop, and then we have Callum Bradshaw and George Palozzi. This is going to be an absolutely fantastic run for the competitors, and we are in for an absolute scorcher here at Imola. All of the cars and drivers ready in position. We're waiting for them to go around, and obviously the race is going to be a very, very tough one for all of the competitors out there. Apologies if there's a slight issue in terms of the bit rates of the car. Do the best that we can to follow the stream as smoothly as possible. So the car's up and over the top of the hill.
Sorry there, Jake.
No problem at all. We're getting excited for the start. It's going to be an interesting one, as obviously we're under rolling start conditions, and the cars are going to be working very hard here to get themselves up to as fast a rhythm as possible. But for Teddy Wilson, the pressure cooker really builds at this point here at Imola, as the field is trying to work themselves up into a bit of a frenzy as they come off the final turn. The safety car will peel off, and then we'll be able to go racing here at Imola for the first race of the day. And it is going to be A very tight one for our competitors here as they get themselves underway. Starters orders, and the lights are out now. We're racing. Teddy Wilson gets a good start initially. No problems at all as Gautier Thornton trying to hold off Yves Baltas, and the field chases their way down to the first corner. Looks like Baltas is going to get through to second position in the first corner. Sandy Mitchell up alongside Preston is Connor Mills, and it's going to be a tight battle into the first corner. No major disasters so far, but so far so good.
Spain has already dropped a couple of positions. He's actually dropped all the way out of the top 15. Looks to be even out of the top 20 as Sammy Venables up to P9. P8 make that now, as it's been really interesting how they all started to sprint away, and you might see at the top of the screen saying Loveras is actually in the pit. So whether he's had a disconnect, I'm not too sure. This does happen normally in esports competition. But at the minute, I mean, that was a brilliant start, Jake, from Teddy Wilson. He absolutely nailed it and caught everyone napping. And I think Gautier Thornton got a bit caught up in the process.
So obviously a very intensive start as the field works its way through. And up at the far end, we've got Xavier Loveras now in the lead from Mason and Wilson. But this is not going to be an easy race to win. They know it's going to be a tough old fight from here on in as the field works its way around the chicane. This is where any wrong move is going to be very severely punished. That chicane can be very brutal at the best of times.
It's very much the case, and then Imola, very fast, very flowing, but also very, very technical, and it does require...
Oh! Contact there. That looks like a big issue right in the middle of the course there. Unfortunately, that is Mitchell going off. So Mitchell has had an issue there, and it looks as though so too is Preston involved. So Mitchell and Preston going down the order. That is a real shame from them. So a big problem.
Yeah. That was a very broadly couple of cars just up ahead of them. Wasn't too sure what that was, but that was 3 into 1. Did not go at all, Jake. Absolutely a shame. But it is early doors in the Custom Racewear F3 Racing Championship. This is the first of 2 races. There's another car actually spun the other way, 180 degrees in the wrong direction, as more drivers start to make their way across the start-finish line here at Imola. So at the minute, the gap between Wilson and Gautier Thornton is now around 1.5 seconds. Baltas from the United States down in 3rd position. Looks like Palozzi has ended up, and that's George Palozzi, I think. I'm just trying to remember all the names. We have got a massive spreadsheet with all the information about the drivers, but already just a few minutes in, 2.5 minutes down, Jake, it is absolutely being torn upside down, the rule book here, isn't it?
Well, the drivers are trying to get themselves into a decent position, but it's not so easy when you've got drivers of all varying different experiences and different intensities. But Mike Hurd leads the way now from Palozzi and Teddy Wilson, with Wilson trying to move his way back into the position he held at the start. It's never easy up at this point.
So I'm just keeping an eye on the YouTube chat. While Jake is keeping a keen eye on the action. We had Steve Berkey on YouTube say good luck, Piers. Team Millsy from Imperator Titan. Carlos Guilherme Boschetto, good luck, Michael. Simitek have also said good luck to all. They are the sponsors of this championship here on the iRacing platform. So in many respects, so really good to see that how many people are tuning in. And the action as we now go with Sandy Mitchell. Currently running in 14th behind Matt Karuna, however you say his name. he's from Reading, he's 13 years of age and is hoping to start in a junior racing championship soon. So really good to hear all the different bits and pieces from all the drivers about what they've competed in, who their motorsport heroes are. So as the race proceeds, we are about a third of the way through, 4 minutes down. 8 to go. Wilson still leads by about 1.5 seconds. Piers Pryor is scything his way through the field as is customary by those that know of Piers. Spends his time between Loughborough and Essex, and he is currently down in what is effectively 19th position at the minute.
Well, there's Callum Bradshaw, IARMY competitor who's been vice champion in the IARMY Euro Series over the last couple of seasons. Very fierce racer and does a fantastic job wherever he goes in the world of karting. But representing the Fusion Motorsport team when he goes racing. Teddy Wilson back in the front, by the way. Wilson's back in the lead. Baltas in second place now from Gautier and Gautier Thornton. So some good battles. Connor Mills now P4 from King, Galbert, Russell, Cyrus, Sanzeri and Callum Bradshaw, who you're looking at, battling away there in Sandy Mitchell. So some good battles early doors already.
Definitely the case. Top as Piers Pryor is going to try and close on Gelman in the number 6 and 18th position. Who's just behind Jakins rounds out the top 16. Piers Pryor has definitely shown quick pace. He was due to compete with Lanham Racing in the BRDC British Formula 3 Championship this year. Obviously they've had to change their calendar. So as it is definitely a really good battle here between, looks like, Cyrus just up ahead. It's Callum Bradshaw up to P9 in the number 27. Runner with Fusion Motorsport, if memory serves me correctly. So it's definitely getting feisty out there, and there is an almighty tussle as Bradshaw sends it up the inside of Sanzeri in the 55 up into P9. So nice work by Callum Bradshaw. Sanzeri's got a bit of work to do to catch up with the Leicester-based driver. Will be very much the case that as Cyrus has got his pit, Caruana has now set a personal best of 2.7. It's not easy, I mean, to get around this circuit here at Imola, but there will be a lot of things still to come in the next just under 5 minutes of this race. So it will be changed for the next one, as the feature race will be 20 minutes with a reverse grid top 10, like the third race in the British Touring Car Championship, with a standing start. So Smithson definitely having a bit of a battle, I think, with that is with Dory, and also Caruana, I think, is just up ahead, and that is definitely an interesting battle that needs to be kept an eye on over the course of proceeding. So we are into the last third of this first of two races. Just a sprint race here at Imola. Preston down in the 15, down in 21st position. Sets a personal best. Mills in P4. There's about 6.6 seconds off Teddy Wilson, who is continuing to lead, continuing to try and extend that gap between himself and Hughes from the US. So the gap now between them is around about 3.7 seconds as King in the 28 and Russell in the 77 and 6th and 7th respectively set their personal best of the race. And for those wondering, on the left hand side of the screen, the green laps are for personal best, the purple laps are for fastest of the race thus far. So there are still quite a lot of drivers. Foster are in the pits, unfortunately, so the race is going to a blocked end here in the first race of round one. Palozzi does a better effort that time as Piers Pryor up to P17 now. 1 minute 38.282 from the Essex base or Loughborough raced driver, who as a privateer in 2018 won the Wilton Mill Kart Club X30 senior title as a privateer. So very, very quick indeed. And there are cheers going on in the YouTube chat at the moment as we are fast approaching the end of our 12-minute sprint race. Fantastic circuit at Imola. So Wilson still has not let go of the lead the minute he got a hold of it. He's got one hand on the victory, and in a couple of minutes' time he will have both hands on the top step of the rostrum here at him. Yves Baltas doing a really good job down in second position ahead of Gautier Thornton. Goubert from France rounds out the top 5 behind Mills in the number 7. So we head into the last 6th of the race. So it's Wilson, Baltas, Gautier Thornton, Mills, Goubert, King, Russell, Sanzeri, Mitchell and Callum Bradshaw rounding out the top 10. Russell and Sanzeri again set personal in the dying moments of this race.
Teddy,
really,
I was just going to say, you have to say that Wilson and Baltas doing a fair job here as we watch this midfield battle. White making his bid to get through and managing to get the overtaking opportunity. But this is always going to be very, very tight as the last couple of laps begin, because you've got drivers who start to get their confidence raised, so they're obviously going to try and make a bid that they perhaps wouldn't make in other circumstances. So this is where drivers will try a trick or two that perhaps they've been reining in a little bit, so we might get a couple of very interesting manoeuvres towards the latter stages of this race.
That's, I very much agree with that, Jake, because normally in F3 that does normally happen. I've seen that through the FIA Formula 3 European Championship. We used to run alongside the DTM, and you have the likes of Esteban Ocon currently at Renault and Max Verstappen currently at Aston Martin Red Bull Racing, plying their trade through there, such as Felix Rosenqvist, Lelo Marcello, amongst others. They have all either been in the hunt for titles or they've won titles. So 30 seconds to go here. Wilson commands a hefty lead of 4.1 seconds over Yves Baltas and puts in a 1 minute 38.579 around here at Imola. So 3.05 miles, 17 turns, anti-clockwise. Absolutely brilliant display from the 18-year-old. So they had to qualify for this through a qualification round where there were a couple of races which saw quite a bit of action, as Ben Bishop told me in the lead-up to this event. So very, very shortly we will be with our leader, who we are with now, Teddy Wilson, in the number 12. Will very shortly get the checkered flag as the timer has now expired. We've gone over 12 minutes in the sprint race here at Imola, the Custom Racewear Formula 3 iRacing Championship.
And fair play to Teddy Wilson as well. He's been very smooth in these last few laps. Once he got himself back into the rhythm, having lost out a little bit, he managed to get himself into that consistent metronomic pace, and that's what you need to do with this particular car. It's never one that you're going to get into a smooth rhythm with until you're patient with it. You've got to just coax yourself around with this car. Teddy Wilson's done just that. He only has 2 corners essentially remaining as he comes into the final couple of left-handers. You've got to be so careful, so smooth, and absolutely cool as a die. He comes out of the final turn, and it's going to be Teddy Wilson that takes the victory in the first race here. Fantastic performance as he comes through on the main straight, and an absolutely heroic as he weaves across the line. Teddy Wilson takes the checkered flag in heroic fashion. Brilliant result for Teddy Wilson. Second place for Yves Baltas, and third for Mathieu Gauthier Thornton.
So let's see if we can have a little bit of a rundown through the final order. So well done to Teddy Wilson for taking the opening race here in the Custom Racewear Formula 3 iRacing Championship, sponsored by Simultech. Big thank you for them for coming on.
Oh, still a couple more battles towards the end there, Alex. It's getting a little bit hectic just on the run to the line as White is having a bit of a free-for-all run down to the start-finish straight.
It's Piers Pryor that has got him on the line. Piers Pryor up to P13. Now that is pretty handy for someone that has a bit of a... now someone's obviously, at least in iRacing, you don't have to worry about cost for damage, do you?
There's certainly a few cars there that would be...
Piers Pryor loses a nose cone. Someone's car literally explodes on the straightaway. But hey, we can't do anything about that. So let's just have a look at the results. Jake, if you want to run that down for us, please.
Well, it's Teddy Wilson who's managed to get the victory done in fine style there from Yves Baltas. Mathieu Gauthier Thornton in third position from Connor Mills and Akila Galbert. Then Thomas King in P6 and Philip Russell in 7th place from Colin Sanzeri, Callum Bradshaw in 9th place and Sandy Mitchell in P10. Then it is Jamie Dory from Matt Carana and Piers Pryor just getting Ben White on the line as we saw. Jamie Jenkins and Harry Smithson from Bradley Gelman and Maximus Meyer in 18th. Then Dave Cyrus and Michael J. Preston in the top 20. Thrilling stuff and a great first race.
Definitely. Now I've just seen in the YouTube chat, Chris Cyrus has just said, typical, my internet mucks up when I'm watching the battle with Dave Cyrus in 8th. How did he end up in the pits? You need to ask Dave about how did he end up in the pits. Not too sure, but there were a couple of contretemps on the very first lap, which we saw. Simutech have just said we will be welcoming drivers, those entered in this series and those who aren't, to join us and Piers Pryor for a professional simulator session in our Milton Keynes studio. Please get in touch. So please feel free to give Simutech a welcome look up and see how things go. But Jake, just to give a quick roundup of what happened in that race, that was just a great way to start off the Custom Racewear Formula 3 iRacing Championship.
Yeah, absolutely thrilling start, and proof that these guys are really up for the scrap and they really wanted to push it to the limit. Obviously, there's no racing what with our current COVID-19 lockdown situation, so they obviously want to give it full guns blazing, but it was a really nice little scrap there between Teddy Wilson and Yves Baltas in the early stages, and it was nice to see that there was a real onus on the drivers to really get into a smooth rhythm as soon as possible. So they started beautifully, and there wasn't too many major messes through the midfield either. The drivers were really giving it everything they've got. They gave enough space. It was as clear-cut and quarters hard, no-nonsense racing as you could expect from Formula 3 drivers. So really exciting stuff here at Imola.
Definitely. We do have to obviously give the title sponsor, effectively, of this, which is Custom Racewear. You can head to customracewear.co.uk. Jake has actually got a custom racewear suit, which you have actually used, haven't you, sir?
Indeed, yes. I've actually been out in Dubai at the Dubai Kartrome filming some bits and pieces, which will be the first time that the Custom Racewear suit actually gets its first proper broadcasting. But yeah, it's a fantastic suit. I can vouch for how brilliant it is, and it's worth going and checking them out. Customracewear.co.uk. They really do know what they're doing in terms of made to measure to the millimetre. It is the most snug, perfect suit I've ever worn while driving, but it's good for karting, good for cars. It really does do the job, and I'm very, very happy with mine.
Also go to their official website and find out about the sublimation style graphics that you can have on your race suits, which Jake actually has on his, because I have actually seen said race suit being plastered all over the place on the Dubai Kartrome Instagram page. I think even on his own Instagram pages or social media. So really, I mean, that was a great first race. We've got the 20-minute feature race coming up with the reverse top 10 grid, which will be very, very interesting indeed, and it will depend on who goes into the first corner first, who's going to come out on it on top. But then they're going to have a further 8 minutes to keep themselves occupied. We've got about 6 minutes or so before the 10-minute warm-up session gets underway. But in the meantime, we will let you know. Well, what we'll do is we'll actually give you some idea of what downforce racing does on its travels.
After a busy day over at the Army Winter Cup, myself and Chris McCarthy were hanging out on the old Valencia Grand Prix circuit, or at least what's left of it. It's actually quite fascinating how much there is left, because there is not a lot to speak of, but you can definitely tell it was here. It's quite mad, really. You're about to get run over. But yeah, that's turn one. Sweeping through. How does it feel to be on the front row of the grid for Valencia? Have you ever been to the ghost of a racetrack before, Chris?
No, it's definitely a first.
What do you reckon of it?
Oh, well, it's all right, I guess.
It's pretty bonkers, isn't it?
It's a racetrack. So.
It's a bit mad that it's half here and half not.
That's one like. That's two. That's three. That's four. That's five. Lights out and away we go. Oh, he's off. Keep going. There we go. It was a great start. It was a great start. It was a good start. Do you reckon you would have held the lead into turn one?
No. So there we are, Formula 1 track in the middle of a city centre behind a fish market. Bonkers, right? It just doesn't feel like an F1 track at all.
Weird.
Very weird.
second steward, Jackie, and the series steward, Philip. Now let me just tell you who is the Chief Medical Officer.
Into the IME International Finals is Akshay Bora.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a great opportunity for some young lads to enjoy what they've got a passion for, really. We've come all the way from the Midlands, and there's people come from all over the country. We give them an opportunity at a very young age to develop their motorsport passions. You can see them all smiling, talking to each other, getting involved with the instructors. There's previous people who've been involved with the championship before, like winners and people who've actually helped, giving them a little bit of information, a few pointers of how to get on in it. And they're all really buzzing. It's an excellent atmosphere.
So today is the Junior Saloon Car Championship Scholarship Day. It's where we decide who will get the scholarship drive for 2020. And basically I'm instructing today, so I've been sat in the passenger seat while kids thrash me around the track and I hold on for dear life. It's been a good day so far. We've only had one off, if you like, but the car isn't terminally damaged, so it's fixed and going again. Some good talent here, very good talent, and whoever wins it will have earned it effectively.
Today is very exciting. It's the scholarship and it's been going well. We had a few weather changes. It's been, I think at one point it was snowing, it's been raining and it's been sunny. So it's been fun. I've done the driving and I've done the media and I've done the auto, so it's just reversing, being able to park in the right space and driving through cones. And then next I got the media, which is about 20 minutes. Not the media, sorry, the fitness. And feeling confident about that. I mean, like it's a great day today. I mean, I've been training so hard for a moment like this, and it feels very, very good and high.
So, here's the thing. You want to go on holiday, and so does your partner. But you like racing cars. Awkward. Well, if you need a perfect holiday destination, and you're as crazy about motorsport as me, I know just the place to kick back and relax. If you love racing cars, you're a true petrolhead, and you want an amazing place to stay, I can't think of anywhere better in the world than Park Inn by Radisson in Dubai Motor City. Let me show you what I mean. Good evening. Great to see you. Ferrari in the lobby, anyone? You know you're in very good hands when there is a Ferrari on the ceiling. So we've obviously gone past the Ferrari on the ceiling, but another thing I really want to show you that I love, look at this. It's brilliant decor down in the restaurant. Tyres in different colours, the different colours of the neon lights outside. It's just beautiful. What a clever idea. But it's just genius, simple, brilliant, looks amazing. I love this place. I really, really love it. This is for people like me who really love their cars and their racing. What an amazing place. It's an exceptional hotel to stay in at night. And when the sun comes up,
then, ladies and gentlemen, you get the amazing spectacle of waking up to this in the morning.
The best view in motorsport from a hotel bedroom window. and it's right around the corner.
Or you could just lounge around all day, doing nothing.
But you don't want to waste this incredible experience, so have a quick shower and grab some breakfast. Not only will you be spoilt for choice, but you'll eat like a prince. And there's something for all ages and taste buds.
Good morning.
Once breakfast and your morning coffee are done, you'll want to burn some of those calories off.
Time for an invigorating workout. Let's do it.
You won't even have to break your daily fitness regime, all the equipment you get from your local gym, and the ability to keep yourself in check, whether you're a beginner or an expert. You can probably tell my category, right? But if you'd rather hang out on the roof,
You can even do a fitness class. Not bad, eh?
sunbathing by the pool, admiring the spectacular view, or doing some laps of your own. For those looking to get away, you'll find yourself in a little slice of paradise in one of the most vibrant and spectacular cities in the world. But what if it's raining, or you need to unwind? Leave that to the Maven Spa, a tranquil haven for rest and relaxation, with massages, aromatherapy, and facials, from sports to pregnancy. It really does cater for everyone. This isn't just an ordinary hotel, it's a perfect blend of petrol and paradise. For racing lovers, you're a few hundred yards from the Autodrome and Kartdrome, so you can have a play the fast way, either watching fast cars or driving some yourself. For those who don't really like that sort of thing, you can relax, kick back, dine in luxury, pamper yourself in sunshine, swimming and relaxation on the doorstep of one of Dubai's most popular precincts, and a short cab ride away from the Mall of the Emirates, Burj Khalifa and the world-famous Palm Jumeirah. And you're an hour away from Abu Dhabi too. Perfect for Grand Prix weekend. So racers, you can even drag your other half along. It's romantic, energetic, sensational and downright sumptuous. Find me a destination that combines as much passion and horsepower as it does its pure luxury, and I'll eat my hat. So, when are you booking your stay?
everybody. Just a few brief videos, predominantly featuring a certain commentator. Yes, Jake Sanson, very much a man well-travelled. A bit more than me, I must admit. I think the furthest afield I've been in terms of commentary is continental Europe, as far south as Italy. But I digress. However, well, you've been all over the place. Sepang, you've been to Dubai. I might have to jump into your luggage and throw out your race suit and everything like that to be there with you, mate. I've lost a little bit of success ballast in the last few weeks since the lockdown has permeated over 135 kilometres.
Yeah, I'll just put you in a zip file and put you on my hard drive, and then off we'll go. That'll be fine.
I'll be an exe file.
Too right.
So we're very shortly going to be getting underway with our 20-minute feature race here at the opening round of the Custom Racewear F3 iRacing Championship, brought to you in association with Simutech Simulation Technologies. So we are at the Autodromo Enzo Edino Ferrari in the Emilia-Romagna. It's always nice when you get that Italian ring off your tongue, don't you? When you have to say it properly. You have to give it the full gusto, a bit like me in Germany. But I have come to love Italy as well, amongst all the other countries I've visited.
Absolutely, I'm looking forward to returning there a few times this year. We've got a few of the karting rounds to come, obviously, this year in places such as Sarno, Lonato. There's a chance I may even be making my debut at Jesolo towards the end of the year if motor racing gets back up and running. Right. So, absolutely, I'd probably say that. Yes, Jesolo is probably the way you say it rather than Jesolo.
That's the thing, with different languages, there comes different pronunciations.
Indeed, and I need to get the correct pronunciation, not the anglicised. That's something I've always prided myself on.
Well, considering the fact that we are both from Essex anyhow, even though you live up in Cheshire.
Indeed, yes. I can recommend Alton Park. It's a wonderful, wonderful place. Not that I get to go there very often, but this is one that I think we both need to add to our repertoires in the real world. Imola being such a historic race circuit with so many incredible chapters in its history. I mean, pretty much everything has been here over the years. Formula 1, Formula 3000, the World Touring Car Championship, various different forms of single-seater come here. GT is very popular, obviously, in continental Europe here at Imola as well, and it still rings true as one of the ultimate tests and challenges for the young driver. By the way, apologies for anybody experiencing some slight issues with their frame rate with our particular feed. We're doing our best, unfortunately, to get on top of it. There's a slight glitch, whether it's to do with bandwidth in the area here in Chester or whatever it might be. I do apologise for that, and we will try and get on top of it. Certainly, if not tonight, in time for the second round. We are still experimenting, and you have to understand I'm a professional commentator by trade, not really a gaming streamer. I'm learning on the job, so we're getting to it as soon as we humanly can, but certainly we're very grateful to everybody, obviously at Simutech and Custom Racewear, for allowing us the opportunity to dip our toes into the water of iRacing coverage. A-racing coverage? It's definitely called iRacing, I've checked.
Well, it is a racing category, so...
Indeed.
The funny thing is that for those who know of myself and Jake, we are like two brothers from different mothers altogether, aren't we? But we've known each other now for it's coming on for 6 years, I think, beginning of 2021.
Sounds about right.
And we've been, we've worked together. We've had great times, great joviality. We do also, when we do decide to have a bit of a tipple, we do normally have a brother's toffee apple cider when we are off duty, of course. Gotta be sensible about that.
Absolutely. That's not just a nice little bit of product placement you put in there. That's mandatory. That
is mandatory. Okay, so we just had a message from. There has been a little bit of an issue with iRacing itself, as the final 3 or just under so minutes are being completed in the practice session. Ben Bishop, thank you for letting us know. We have, so myself, Jake, and him are constantly in communication throughout this. This is so we're just making sure that everything's all running right, as Jake said. Apologies for the technical difficulties, but it is a case when you are streaming through such a big platform, and there is a lot of streaming going through the YouTube side of things, so I wouldn't be at all surprised if YouTube is also having its fair share of significant power drained from it.
Well, what we do get to see, of course, is just how hard these guys are pushing again. They want to be on top of their game, and obviously the warm-up session gives us an idea as to who's getting decent pace. Yet again, Teddy Wilson is on the pace, though, with the likes of Philip Russell and Michael J. Preston trying to stay with. Yves Baltas is still right up there. Meyer going a lot faster in the warm-up this time, so whether or not that's going to turn into something as we watch Stephen Healy having a nice little jostle on the road there. I think that's Harry Smithson. He's having a little bit of... Oh no, sorry, it was Matthew Galter-Thornton. Right up at the sharp end. Callum Bradshaw's just banged in a time good enough for second fastest, so that is very good news from his point of view as we keep an eye on Stephen Healy in car number 1. But yeah, fascinating group of drivers all trying to get themselves a decent lap time in as Yves Baltas goes second fastest in warm-up.
Yeah, the American's been pretty quick, and I think he's kept Teddy Wilson a bit on his toes, but not enough to sort of put the frighteners on him, if I'm completely honest. But Callum Bradshaw, you know, raced with Fusion Motorsport last year, had great success, but also his fair share of trials and tribulations. As, for those that know Jake, he's also he works with RGMMC with the IAMI X30 Euro Series. For those in karting circles, I know a few that might be watching from White House Pro Cup. Good evening. Hope you're all keeping well. So Colin Sanzeri with March Racing, Sammy Venables, Sam Reed are household names from RHBK. So I hope you're all enjoying the action at the minute. So it's Wilson, now it's Thomas King ahead of Yves Baltas. Then it's, well, Michael Preston's gone up to P3 in the 15. So it's Baltas, Bradshaw, Russell, Mayer, Sanzeri, Mathias Thornton rounding out the top 10. Jake, it's still pretty close. It's just under a second between the top 10 at the minute. And then you look a little bit further down. Piers Pryor is a little bit higher up the order this time. 21st at the minute and the 26th.
Yep, that's right. Piers Pryor. Well, he was. And now he's gone fastest. Look at that. Boom. Straight up to the top.
Yeah, over 2.5 tenths of a second to get ahead. And Bradshaw's responded too. He's gone 1 minute 10th of a second. The 22-year-old.
I was literally just about to point out that Piers Pryor was in there in terms of the same sort of positions in the road as Matt Caruana. And yeah, he just bands in with a brilliant lap at the end there. But the starting grid for this coming race is obviously going to be very competitive indeed, as the cars are now getting themselves sorted out and lined up, ready for action here at Imola. But yeah, this is going to be interesting with Sandy Mitchell starting up at the front end and Callum Bradshaw in second from Colin Sanzeri. So this is definitely going to be a different race for sure.
Especially with the fact it's a 20-minute feature race. We've got a reverse grid top 10, Jake, and that is going to put the cat amongst the pigeons. That is going to be the unpredictability factor kicked up to another notch here at Imola. And it could really change things, because obviously, effectively now that Teddy Wilson is the points leader coming into this ahead of Yves Baltas, they're on a standing start this time, so no rolling start formation, as we're about to get things underway for the feature race here at Imola. So being shown on the gantry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So away we are then, and it's Mitchell and Bradshaw dueling for the first corner, and Ben White has popped up to the first inside line as he tries to come through. Oh, there's a roll! There's a roll in the middle there. One or two cars getting tripped up. Oh, and that's the 44 going around. That, unfortunately, is a spin there for Matthew Gautier-Thornton. So a couple of cars already very much out of it at the back end of the field, but it's Teddy Wilson out in front, and it looks like there's a spin in the mid-pack there. That looked like Yves Baltas getting a little bit of a tap and turning around. So already some big drama moments then here at Imola. A couple of the cars have ended up going for a pirouette, but that looks to me like Teddy Wilson leading the way for the moment.
Definitely the case. Piers Pryor up into is now P11. So the likes of Cyrus, Neat has also ended up in the pits as well. So quite a few drivers compromised, and someone definitely had a moment like Nico Hulkenberg did a couple of years back in Formula 1, went rolling, but didn't get caught up along the barrier with the roll hoop. But yeah, already that is 10 drivers that look to be eliminated, I think, at this early point, and that is an absolute disaster here for a lot of drivers who are looking to make an instant impact here in the first round here at Imola.
Well, very exciting stuff. Connor Mills has taken the lead and Matthew Gautier-Thornton in second position from Teddy Wilson. But there's definitely going to be some interesting run through this entire race, because we're going to see several drivers making their bid. That's Thomas King we're watching as he closes up on Colin Sanzeri just in front of the American Yves Baltas, but they've made up some good progress early doors. Thomas King now in P4 as they come across the line according to the timing screen, so changing all the time, but Colin Sanzeri in the 55 definitely going to come under some pressure now from Thomas King.
Very much the case, as there are multiple drivers getting their personal best out of the way, so that's really, really good. But the apologies for the timing on the left-hand side of your screen, folks. There are multiple drivers that are showing up.
Oh, contact! No, that's gone terribly wrong. The two of them have come together. Oh no, the battle for third position. That was so close to being avoided by the two of them, but just an aggressive move up the inside and it pirouettes the two men around. So that was such a shame, but both drivers unfortunately as culpable as each other.
That's the case. So please just, it's just absolutely going wrong with a lot of drivers at the minute. So we do have a lot of drivers that will be moving up the order as we go with Callum Bradshaw at the minute, number 25 from Leicester. He's just got, looks like he's battling away with Mitchell there for 8th position on the road at the minute, according to the timing screens, but I would think that's going to be a little bit further up the order. A lot of drivers, like I say, there have been a couple of issues, I think, not just from our side with the bandwidth, but there have been a couple of issues with drivers trying to get onto the server here at iRacing. So sometimes, because of overloads, that can sometimes happen, but we are trying to make sure that we are keeping this as interesting as possible. 3 minutes and 22 seconds completed of the 20 minutes feature lap here, as Callum Bradshaw has a gap over Mitchell down to half a second. And he's got a 1 minute 38.715 under his belt. That is a pretty quick lap here at Monza.
Well, you're watching the lead battle between Bradshaw and Mitchell. So Bradshaw leading, Mitchell in second place. Thomas King currently in third, with Baltas in fourth place. Then Jamie Jenkins, Smithson, Healy, Palozzi, Venables, Mason and Max Meyer in 11th position. And I think that is pretty much all she wrote after all the drama and the battles that we've had. I'm certainly not seeing too many others out there. I think a lot of drivers have ended up having to DNF, or certainly being a long way down the order.
Very much the case. So
well,
Bradshaw and Mitchell.
there's Lovadas. So Lovadas is still going, but look at how far back everybody else is out. There's a long gap down. Meanwhile, the lead still battling away. That's Bradshaw trying to hang out in front of Sandy Mitchell, and this is where the battle is really going to be tight, Alex.
Very, very much the case. It's just really, like I say, with the issues with iRacing at the moment, we are just, I'm sorry we're having to apologise so much. It's just that quite a lot has transpired, obviously, with the iRacing servers, so sometimes they do have technical difficulties there. You know, this is a globally used platform. So Bradshaw still ahead of Mitchell at minute, King in third. Whether this is going to change could be dependent over the next 15 minutes, Jake, but it is still all. But the thing is that we are being updated as much as we can, and I know that people are asking about saying stream. This is the first time for Jake, so please bear with him. I think you're doing a cracking job, mate.
Doing the best.
Well done. Kudos to you.
Well, there are certainly some good battles going on out there. That's worth picking up on, so we'll try and pick up on a few of them, but there's not many drivers still running. I'm just trying to pick up on those that are still battling it out there, and it is quite astonishing that there are quite a few that are not running at the front end of the field like they were.
Yeah, okay. It looks like, now I've just been keeping an eye on the YouTube chat. The race isn't going to count. It looks like people have been asked to exit the server, so I'm just awaiting for,
that makes a lot of sense.
Which makes a lot of sense, so please bear with us on this. I'm not too sure what's going on. I think Jake and I are just as bewildered as each other, so... right, we're just getting confirmation now.
There were problems with iRacing. That was the issue. So essentially, the race has ended up having to be suppressed, and obviously they're hopefully going to restart it as soon as is humanly possible. But there were all sorts of difficulties coming into the race. So unfortunately, I think that's why we had so many so much flotsam and jetsam around the circuit. So unfortunately, we seem to have brewed up a bit of a perfect storm tonight of all sorts of different issues that have kind of come to the fore. But it is what it is. Unfortunately, the internet, it's always going to be problematic from time to time. So humorously, we've got Bradshaw and Mitchell still out there in the lead. And I don't think either of them want to come out. They're still battling, according to what I've got on the screen in front of me. They're not ceasing, despite the fact there's only 3 cars still left on the road. But Bradshaw and Mitchell are enjoying their little battle.
Yeah, definitely the case. I think what we'll probably be doing is we'll probably end up just sort of seeing if we can just cut the stream for a moment and just rejoin the new session. So please bear with us for the next few moments or so, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your patience. Plus, I like admin. I've got to do enough with you.
Yeah. Now let's double check this. Potentially.
We're still buffering at the moment.
Yeah. No, that's to be expected.
Oh, it's just changed. Right, mute for a second. Mute for a second. Welcome back to the resumption of round 1 of the Custom Racewear Formula 3 iRacing Championship, brought to you in association with Downforce Racing, Go UK and Simutex Simulation. My name's Alex Goldschmidt, and with me again is Jake Sanson. Apologies for the technical difficulties that we've had a bit earlier on in the broadcast, but we hopefully had a bit more of a fix. We've got pre-practice ahead of the 20-minute feature race, and the stream from my view, as I've got the YouTube chat also open, is absolutely smooth as anything. A big thank you to Ben Bishop for help on that. So Jake, very interesting first race, won by Teddy Wilson by over 4.3 seconds ahead of Yves Balatas from the United States, with Matthew Gauthier Thornton, Connor Mills and Achille Gaubert from France rounding out the top 5. Very interesting first race, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was definitely very entertaining and very exciting, and we got to see quite a few interesting moments and manoeuvres in that particular encounter. So I have a feeling we're definitely going to see some more thrilling drama in this second race, as the battle is going to continue again. But obviously the drivers are just in the middle of their warm-up session at the moment, so they're trying to figure out, exactly what's going to come next from their point of view. But certainly we're going to see some pretty tight racing out there again, and I'm hoping that now that we seem to have fixed our errors, we're actually going to have an even closer race in the second one than we had in the first. I gather there were some issues with the problems in the first race that caused quite a few drivers an issue, so I'm kind of hoping that this time it's going to be a much smoother scenario.
Yes, definitely. The good thing is that for those watching the official Downforce Racing UK YouTube channel, thank you for joining us, myself, Alex Goldschmidt, and Jake Sanson. So, Autodromo Enzo e Dino Ferrari, just not too far away from Bologna in the Emilia-Romagna region. About 4 hours south of Adria International Raceway. I was actually at Adria last July. Fantastic country, lovely bit of northern Italy in the Veneto region, just outside of Venice, but a long old drive if you want to get in a hire car, Jake, wouldn't you say?
Certainly is, but certainly the kind of road trip I'd be quite happy to do. I remember my first ever trip to a commentary gig outside of the UK was in Italy. I was touched down at Pisa Airport in 2014 in the height of the summer, with a vague idea of where the Mugello race circuit was, and basically just went off on an adventure on my own. I didn't know any of the people I was going to be working with personally. I had only had a couple of emails from a few people. I do love it when the adventure takes you on that sort of situation, and I have a feeling that there's quite a few drivers here within the server who will have similar stories to tell and similar encounters of that nature. But always fascinating to see how these drivers get on with things. We're watching Aidan Neat, who is currently at the top of the table.
Yes, please I'm just going to apologise now. You might hear our dog here in Essex barking in the background, but it is what it is. We are at our homes, obviously, with the COVID-19 pandemic.
No hound dogs as far as I'm concerned. I certainly couldn't hear any. Were you trying to tell me there was?
There was, definitely. I heard one. Ours. But Aidan Neat, a official Tony Kart driver, was... Oh, Max Meyer goes a bit off track there. It's about a 10th off of the number 57, based out of Milton Keynes, who is a Tony Kart factory driver, the likes of Joe Turney. Man that we both know very well.
That didn't go well for Max Meyer as he spins off the road there. But yeah, Max Meyer, who's based, of course, in Spain these days, and has been for quite a while now. But has flew into and that's a car right in front of Teddy Wilson going off the road. Wilson currently 7th in the warm-up, but we are coming close to the end of the warm-up session as the drivers are now very much getting themselves geared up and ready for action. But fortunately, I think you can all appreciate the fact that the stream is much clearer and smoother than once it was.
There is no terrible way to win.
We are getting ourselves ready for the start of a gripping race. Don't go too far away. We are about to come straight back.
I was beginning to think I'd never be anything more than a piston-happy lead
for
foot
the second time tonight.
Then this
Much
starts
clearer,
to
much
happen.
stronger.
Somebody put it in your
Here
mind
at
you're
Imola,
going to
back in
be
a moment.
perfect every time out of your failure.
There is no terrible way to win. There is only
Jake
winning.
Sanson and Alex Goldschmidt with you as we get ourselves geared up and ready for the start of race action. Here,
I was beginning to think I'd never be anything more than a piston-happy lead foot punk. Then this starts to happen.
Somebody put it in your mind you're going to be perfect every time out of your failure. Well, forget that.
Top 10 first. You ready to put away your Enzo Nino Ferrari. It's a bit of a mouthful, but it definitely trips off the tongue whenever you say it correctly.
And everybody lads out. That's it. Time to go racing. Straight in. Sorry for cutting you off there, Alex, but we've gone straight in.
No, fine.
Sandy Mitchell has got an immediate lead. Colin Sanseri has been taken on by Callum Bradshaw in the first corner already as the field tries to knit its way through. Oh, and that's a wheel off for someone behind. That looks like Teddy Wilson. Teddy Wilson's already got an issue there by the look of it, or certainly somebody down the order mixing it up as the field knits its way through on the run down to Villeneuve in the chicane. So a very exciting run already. Oh, and Bradshaw seems to have had a moment. Bradshaw spins and it looks as though Mills is in trouble, and so is Harry Smithson. So several cars in trouble. Oh, that's a spin for Teddy Wilson. Wilson's gone around. A big bit of drama there for Wilson. So that's definitely not helped him out any, but Wilson down the order, but it's Sandy Mitchell. Look at that. The Scot has got a clear bit of track in front of him.
Definitely the case, and Piers Pryor on the move. He's up to P8 already. Polozzi up to 11th, up into 12th.
Oh, that's Ben White.
15th.
Ben White's gone around. Sorry, Alex. Ben White has had a bit of a spin there, and so too has Max Meyer. So a few problems there. But one of the big movers out of all of that is Matt Caruana. He's had a pretty good run and is now up in 7th place in front of Piers Pryor and chasing down Callum Bradshaw with Philip Russell in P5.
So Mitchell, Sanseri, King, Russell, Bradshaw, that is the top 5. Caruana has swapping positions. The 18-year-old from Leicester quite convincingly over the last few corners or so. Pryor, Loveras and Cyrus round out the top 9 with Sammy Venomous trying to get more names out right there. That's the thing about us as commentators, we get rather excitable, don't we, Jake?
We certainly do, especially when drivers are getting crossed up left, right and centre. There's Piers Pryor in front of Xavier Loveras and in behind Matt Caruana, and there goes Loveras. Loveras goes right round the outside of Piers Pryor and takes the place. So a nice move there from the Spanish driver. Oh, Piers Pryor's caught the curb and spun the car. Piers Pryor pirouettes. That is not good news for him, so he is definitely down and out of it. But Matt Caruana is doing a great job there in 6th position at the present moment, in behind Russell and Bradshaw. But Thomas King is now the man we're going to pick up in 3rd position, chasing down Colin Sanseri.
Yeah, definitely the case. Loveras still really very much trying to close in on Caruana. The gap between them is about 2.5 seconds. Cyrus doing a good job. Polozzi's only about 0.3 of a second just behind in the battle for what is 8th position on the road. So really, really exciting battles all the way up down the order. I think think Sammy Venables has dropped out of the top 20, Jake, so the helicopter services driver from RHPK has dropped down to P21 ahead of Piers Pryor, so it looks like the RHPK boys have been spinning in sympathy.
Well, it looks like we've lost Yves Baltas, Matthew Gautier-Thornton and Teddy Wilson, who are all the big players from the first race, so it's definitely going to be a very different race this time, as Philip Russell there, we watch in 5th position, trying to chase down after Callum Bradshaw. And we've got some big movers in the middle of the field as well. But Callum Bradshaw, having just had a very nice race with Sandy Mitchell in the previous session, is now trying to go and get a victory for real this time as he battles away for position. Looks as though he's got a lag spike issue. Thomas King is battling with him in 3rd position, but Bradshaw is going to take on the place and gets into 3rd place. So a good move there from Bradshaw, but I think he's going to be dipping in and out of the picture because he's got some kind of an issue developing there, Callum Bradshaw, but he still has 3rd place for the moment. His next target, Colin Sanzeri.
Yeah, but he's also set the fastest lap in process, Jake, as the number 25 from Leicester. But Sanzeri trying to close the gap on Mitchell for the lead. So the number 19, definitely doing a great job out front, just based north of Dundee, 4R, and Sandy Mitchell. So he's got a clean pair of heels in the direction of Colin Sanzeri from Hoddesdon. Then it's Callum Bradshaw. Then it is Thomas King, Philip Russell, Matt Caruana, Javier Loveras from Spain, George Palozzi, Dave Cyrus and Aidan Neal.
Sorry, Alex, that's Foster. I think he's got bad damage to the left, right rear of the car, so he's out of it, I'm afraid. And that's very bad news for him. Ben White has had a couple of issues as well. But I'm going to let you pick up where you left off.
Yeah, well, there's an interesting fact about Palozzi. He is actually the youngest driver for the Formula Student University of Southampton team. Now, obviously, Formula Student hopes to provide. He's the youngest ever University of Southampton Formula Student driver. He competes in the British University Karting Championship, which is run by the venerable John Vigor from Club 100. He's a good bloke as well, John. Always love talking to that guy. He's the charismatic enigma of rental kart driving at the moment in the UK.
Bradshaw making the bid for 2nd place on Sanzeri. Sorry to cut you off, but Bradshaw has made the move there on Colin Sanzeri, so he is through into P2. His next target is Sandy Mitchell, who is almost the entire length of the run from Tamburello to Villeneuve in front of him, so that's a big gap to try and get rid of in the next 5 minutes. But if anybody's going to go for it, it's going to be Callum Bradshaw, so he's going to be heading for it if he can. Austin Foster has just retired from the race. Looks as though we've also lost... oh no, Piers Pryor is still going. He's just rejoined down at the back of the field. As far as he's concerned, this is now an extended test session as Akil Galbert has had a problem as well, the Frenchman. Meanwhile, Max Myers having a great little tussle with Michael J. Preston, who's got Dave Cyrus coming through, trying to make his bid to get up into 10th position. Great race battles everywhere you look. There is Matt Caruana running in 6th position, trying to chase down Philip Russell.
Yeah, Dave Cyrus, 30 years old from Scarborough, big F1 fan. And funny enough, it's the new McLaren pairing for 2021 of his favourite drivers, Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo. How's that for a combination?
I think everybody's going to enjoy that. That's obviously related to news that only broke about 24 hours ago or 48 hours ago? I've lost track of the days now.
Within the last 72.
Within the last 72 hours, definitely.
Carlos Sainz replacing Sebastian Vettel, who a lot of people are saying is going to retire at the end of the season. Does he switch to Renault? Does he go in an advisory role at Mercedes? Who knows? We're just going to find out.
Nice move from Connor Mills to get into 11th place past Dave Cyrus. He's been on a bit of a comeback drive and is doing a good job there as Thomas King is still trying to shake off the attentions of Philip Russell by closing in on Colin Sanzeri in the process. Looks as though we've got a nice side-by-side going on. That's Jamie Jakins and Ben White getting very close together. Jakins gets through. So a nice move there in the final Piratella corners. Nice bit of dueling all the way through this field. Great to see so many cars in action. Oh, and into the pits comes Ben White, so he's obviously got damage. Now, this is Michael J. Preston getting his move on Maximus Meyer. There's not a lot between them, either of them, as they're going to make the move on the inside. Preston's going to commit to it. Meyer gives him enough space to get through. But that was millimetre stuff between the two drivers, and now Max Meyer's having another crack.
They're lucky that they're not interlocking wheels at this particular moment in time, Jake, because that could be two shades of ugly if they come into contact with each other, side pod to side pod, or even interlocking at the wheels. So great spatial awareness from the pair of them on that exchange.
And Preston's been able to get back through, so Preston through past Meyer. So very exciting stuff from them as they continue their duel. Really exciting stuff so far as the duel between these two continues, but it is very, very tough stuff as the races continue. And now closing in on them, that is Connor Mills. So Connor Mills is closing in as well.
Yeah, it's quite funny that normally what happens in Formula 3 racing, like a lot of the racing, to myself and Jake have both commentated on over the past few years, that when a battle gets close, you always see that someone is going to be the little dark horse behind and has got the ringside seat, and that is very much the case for Connor Mills. A little bit of info when I get the sheet up on the screen. Connor Mills, 23 from Upminster. He was very successful in 2012 as a karter, British Championships, MSA at that particular point, O Plate Winter Champion and London Championship, and then moved to Genetic Minis and Formula 4. He's looking to find sponsors and manage the Touring Car Championship once the pandemic is over. He's based in Upminster, is Connor Mills.
And he's giving Max Meyer, the talented Spanish kart racer, a real run for his money. Max Meyer is not going to be too far away from thinking about a Spanish F4 tilt. Very likeable young man, has been one of the stars of the FIA Karting Championship and the IAMA Euro Series in recent years. So two men with a lot of talent. At the inside, Meyer having a look to go past Michael J. Preston, but hasn't been able to make the switch back. So he keeps pushing, but he's not quite able to get the move. Great to see that there's not just battles towards the front of the field, but certainly lower down there's plenty of decent battles in there as well. You've got drivers who have made good progress. Matt Caruana has made up 5 places off the grid. Palozzi and Loveras have both made up 14. Preston's made up 10 and Max Meyer's made up 7. So great racing in the top 10 as Connor Mills, he may have lost 4 places, but he is giving it plenty of gusto to Max Meyer. Meyer trying to defend, but here comes Connor Mills on the inside into the Aqua Minerale, and he gets through, no problem at all there, out of the chicane, and now he's going to take on Michael J. Preston almost instantaneously as he goes right, swings for the move on the inside line. They're going to go side by side through the kink. He's got to commit to it. Oh, and Preston didn't even realise he was there, and Preston gets spat out. Oh, unfortunate for Michael J. Preston, but he just clobbered Connor Mills as they came through, just nudged the car, and there was nothing he could do about it. And as a result of that, Max Meyer has been able to get past Connor Mills as Mills had to run wide to avoid the issue as well. So unfortunate there, but that can happen in iRacing all too frequently. Now here's a good battle, Alex. We've got Colin Sanzeri versus Thomas King for 3rd.
Yeah, I know Colin Sanzeri very, very well indeed. March Racing RHPK driver. Very, very quick and very, very likeable young man. Very well mannered, very softly spoken at times, but when you get him behind the wheel of a race car or a kart, especially when he goes through stadium for the very first time, he will go at anybody. And I'm looking to see whether that is going to be the case now. Sanzeri really has to do a defensive number now, because when you look at the times with both Mitchell and Bradshaw, who have sort of galloped away into the distance, he's about 5.2 seconds off of Callum Bradshaw, who is trying to close the gap on Sandy Mitchell for the win here, as we're past about less than 9 minutes to go in the feature race here for the first round of the Custom Racewear Formula 3 iRacing Championship, sponsored by Simitech Technologies. So, I mean, the gap between Mitchell and Bradshaw, I'm spotting, Jake, is around about, it's been equidistant, but Sanzeri has got about 7/10 of a second distance between himself and Thomas King in the battle for P3. Now, just had a look down the rest of the order. Aidan Neat has also made 12 positions, as has Mike Hurd. We'll make that 11 as Michael J. Preston gets back past Aidan Neat. So Aidan Neat started from nigh on the back part of the field, around about 24th position. It's going to be interesting to see how the battle between, I think, not just Sanzeri and King, but you can have a look back. Palozzi is closing on Caruana a little bit, but there's still a lot of time. Even 8 minutes, people might say, well, that's not going to be enough for them to close the gap. It will be when you look at it, when you get to about 60 seconds to go.
That's right, we've only got about 8 minutes left of the race, and Bradshaw is chipping away at Mitchell ever so slowly. 2.7 seconds is the gap between the two leaders, so there isn't a lot between them at all. Thomas King is still trying to give some pressure to Colin Sanzeri, and Michael J. Preston is having, oh, that looks like damage to Aidan Neat. Aidan Neat's got some problems there, so the youngster who of course is a karting race winner and a very prolific one in his own right. Never mind what Father Andy has given him in terms of blood and water in that particular part of the world as pure racers. But Aidan Neate has got some problems there with the front end of the car. Meanwhile, Bradley Gelman is trying to keep in front of Jamie Jenkins as they come through the hairpin and up the hill once again. Jenkins looks like he's got a really good run here on Brad Gelman. He's going to try and get alongside, but Gelman cuts across before he even attempts to get alongside. So this is going to be a bag of nerves between these two, that is for sure. What about Mills and Meyer? Well, Connor Mills is still trying to edge a little bit closer to Maximus Meyer, but he's got problems of his own to worry about. That's Javier Loveras in front of him, so already some big problems on the horizon if he can catch up to Loveras. But George Palozzi is currently coping with a heck of a lot of pressure as he tries to move his way up towards the back of Matt Caruana, but there's a long gap between those two, so he's got more problems. Look, he's trying to break the toe of Javier Loveras, but Loveras looks like he's got a really good run here on Palozzi. Which way would he go? Would he go left or right? He's sent right by Palozzi, but he's going to draw alongside and beats into the braking zone. He's going to run a little bit wide though, out of Tamburello. This is going to be a good battle here, Alex.
He kept it. He's kept it. But Jake, look at the gap between the two leaders, down to 1.6 from 2.8 seconds. Bradshaw is on the hunt for blood right now for the victory here in the feature race.
Yeah, I think Mitchell might have made a mistake or two, and as they come up back with Minerali up towards the chicane, this is going to be a tough old race for Sandy Mitchell to win, and he knows it. Callum Bradshaw has obviously given him plenty of pressure in the early race. Callum Bradshaw, one of the best Senior X30 drivers in the world, and Sandy Mitchell, a very competitive GT and single-seater racer who has won countless times in many different contests. And of course, he too came through the world of British karting before getting into those competitive drives. So this is a young man we need to keep an eye on. Sandy Mitchell just hanging on in front of Bradshaw. But yes, you're right, Alex, that gap has been sliced in half.
One of the interesting things about Sandy Mitchell is that he is also won in the silver category at the 24 hours of the iconic Spa-Francorchamps. He's also raced in the Grand Prix Endurance Series. He's a Lamborghini GT3 junior driver with Barwell Motorsports and in the Lamborghini American Super Trofeo Wayne Taylor Racing. So he's also been second in the Super Trofeo World Final. So there is a lot of experience under the old head on young shoulders of the 20-year-old from Scotland.
So we're going back to this battle between Loveras and co. Loveras still trying to close up on Matt Caruana in P6, but he's quite solid in there. Loveras is now on his own because Meyer and Mills have both managed to get past George Palozzi. Let's have a look. There is Palozzi. He's had a couple of moments by the look of it as Max Meyer now runs in front of Connor Mills, desperately trying to keep in front of him. But there's so many big names in this race that have had all sorts of problems. There's Aidan Neate again in front of Piers Pryor, but they're a long way back. He's still going despite the damage to the car, which is good to see. Now Jamie Jenkins, just a little way up the road, has got another good opportunity to go for Brad Gelman. He's not going to banzai up the inside there at Tamburello. He hasn't got enough of a smooth rhythm to make that one work. Meanwhile, third position. Now this is worth picking up again, Alex, because we've got Thomas King still all over the back of Colin Sanzeri, and this is about Sanzeri making the mistake and Thomas King hustling him to get it happen.
Yeah, that's definitely the case because King's going to just pressurise and probably do the old Nigel Mansell dummy maybe at some point to throw Sanzeri into a bit of confusion. And this is what the psychological side of racing really is. And you see this a lot in karting too, that they'll build, or they'll keep the gap. The gap now down is to just over 0.4 of a second between the pair. As White, well, it's just really, really interesting how quickly it's going to be before King pounces on Sanzeri for P3, and then you have what to do to get to Callum Bradshaw because the gap between second and third is now 11 seconds.
So this little tussle between these two is going to get quite hectic in a moment because Thomas King is lining up Sanzeri. He's not going to wait around forever either. Here he goes into Villeneuve, up on the inside line. He's going to dive, he's going to brake late, and he's done a beauty there. Absolutely brilliant move from Thomas King. That will put him into third position, no problem at all.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be too little too late because we're now coming towards the final 2 3/4 minutes of the feature race here at Imola. But that was a textbook move of how King just sent it up the inside of Sanzeri there. Just brilliantly done. But Bradshaw is closing. He now has, I think he's had the hurry up sign, Jake, because the gap has fluctuated. It's been halved again. It's now down to 9/10 of a second between Bradshaw and Mitchell.
Yeah, this is nothing now. This is going to be a furious final couple of laps of racing around Imola, and Bradshaw knows he's really got to push it to get close to Mitchell, but he's still got that lag spike issue. You can see he keeps tripping in, tripping out of the picture, but he still has the opportunity to win if he can just keep the car going. But he's there behind Bradshaw, and he is absolutely mothering that gap. Look how quickly, and now he's going to be in the slipstream, so he won't make the overtake on this run to the first chicane, but he will gain a little bit more time, and that's where he can win and lose this race. He's got a great chance here to go for the move on Sandy Mitchell. It won't be in the first couple of corners, it won't even be in the first sector, but probably by the time they get to Acqua Minerale, he may have a run up the hill.
Yeah, I've just had a check on Callum's lap times, Jake. He was half a second quicker than Mitchell on that last tour alone. But the gap's still remaining at about 7/10 of a second, 90 seconds on the clock remaining here in the feature race. But it's dependent on two things: how quickly Bradshaw closes the gap, and also if Mitchell does an unforced error, not mitigated in any way, shape or form by Callum Bradshaw. So there are two deciding factors that could provide us with a very different outcome in just over a minute's time.
Piers Pryor's just done a bit of a flyer, a 1:37, would you believe? 1:37.4. That's a brilliant lap from Piers Pryor as he tries his best to make up for the lost time from earlier on. And I think Ben White has finally given up the ghost, so problems there for Ben White, but we've had several drivers obviously retiring from the race today. But now we've got a slower car in front as well. That's going to be an interesting factor because Sandy Mitchell is still only about 6 tenths of a second maximum in front of Callum Bradshaw. He's trying to pull away from Bradshaw, but they've got a slower car in front of them, which wasn't a problem in the first race. So this is definitely going to be a pivotal final lap, and we are going to go on to the final lap because we're going to come across the line with about 20 seconds to go. So Sandy Mitchell knows this race is not won yet. If anything, it just got started.
I think the Chinese fireworks have definitely been put ablaze here in Italy, but the gap now between Mitchell and Bradshaw just over a second. So Mitchell has gone over 3/10 of a second quicker than Bradshaw. He now knew that when he crossed the line, he said, right, okay, I've got to pull a gap. I've really got to pull a gap. As King puts in 1:31.298, he's extended the gap between himself and Russell now is in P4. So Sanzeri drops to P5. So Russell is about 6 seconds behind King. Sanzeri's 5 seconds behind Russell. Matt Caruana's just put in his personal best lap of the race in 1:39.7.
We've got Connor Mills and Max Meyer side by side as well. Here we go, down to the first corner on the final lap. And this is going to be tight. Meyer's going to hold his nerve in front of Connor Sims. And look out, here comes Xavier Veras. He's going to try and close up on both of them as well. So there's several battles to keep an eye on, all at the same point here, and we don't have time to cover them all, but Mills is going to try again round the outside of Meyer. Can he get there on the inside of Fieldham? Oh, it's so close between them, they almost touch, but Meyer is going to hold it unless they come into toes together. Oh, and Mills just gets nudged in the braking zone. Laveras gets through, that was so tight. But there was nothing really that could be done about that one. A very clean battle there. I don't think that was intentional from Meyer at all. It was just under braking. They couldn't avoid touching wheels. But here comes Sandy Mitchell. He has soaked with the pressure all the way through from Callum Bradshaw, and he's got enough of a gap to be comfortable as he comes out of the final turn and down the main straight. An absolutely brilliant run, and the checkered flag will fly for him, and the victory goes the way of Sandy Mitchell. Absolutely fantastic race and a brilliant run as he beats Callum Bradshaw to the flag. A fantastic race drive from Bradshaw regardless, and we've still got battles. Oh, Palozzi and Laveras have come together. Palozzi and Laveras come together on the final lap, and that's going to give Max Meyer 7th place at the Vine. Thomas King is 3rd. Philip Russell comes home for 4th position. A good fight back from him. Colin Sanzeri in 5th position. Almost got caught there by Matt Caruana, who's had a great final lap to get close to him. Max Meyer, though, is going to come home in 7th place. Great result and a brilliant race.
So that's two different winners from this evening. So Teddy Wilson took top honours in the sprint race, but what a drive from Scotland's Sandy Mitchell, winning by over 1.8 seconds from Callum Bradshaw. Great job by Thomas King to really put the frighteners on Colin Sanzeri, who ended up P5 with Philip Russell being the meet in the middle of the 17 and 55 sandwich. Matt Caruana, Max Meyer, George Palazzi, Veras, Cyrus Hurd. Here's right to the 13th at the flag, so another great fight back from the Essex or Loughborough-based driver. And he also, I think he might have set the fastest lap of the race as well. But that is a exciting conclusion to the first of 4 race evenings here on the official 2020 Custom Racewear Formula 3 iRacing Championship, brought with
there is no terrible way to win. There is only winning.
Let me drive. I'll make a fool out of you. Every one of us has to find a reason to do this. You do it because you're driven.
I was beginning to think I'd never be anything more than a piston-happy lead-foot punk. Then this starts to happen.
Somebody put it in your mind you're going to be perfect every time out or you're a failure. Well, forget that.
Next week,
just forget it.
Are you ready to put away your toys and grow up? Are you ready to make more money in 1 year than your father made in his whole life? Are you ready to become a real
Oh, absolutely. It's a classic
Well, one
variation.
was probably the last time I ever felt pure victory.
Because I'm quicker than all of you.
And if you no longer go for a gap that exists, no longer racing
well, and I'm sure there's
The hell
going to be
isn't that what we're in this
added to the
for?
lineup
To
that
stare
we're not
death in
able
the
to
face
compete at
and
Imola,
to
so
cheat
there's
it?
going to be a lot of
Come
variables.
on, there's
but now we know
nobility
there's
in
the
that.
likes of Teddy
It's
Wilson,
like being knights.
Yves
No
Baldas,
pressure.
Sandy Mitchell,
Nobody
Callum
breathing
Bradshaw.
down
They're
my
the
back,
drivers
just
that are
driving
making a
because I
real
love it.
early
Pure.
play
A lot
for
of
this
people
title.
go through
So
life doing things
when we come
badly.
back
Racing's
next week
important
at
as
Silverstone,
well.
we're going to be better at managing
Racing
the
is
stream for
life.
one thing, but
Anything that
certainly
happens
in
before
terms
or
of the
after,
racing,
just
it's
wait.
going to
I
be
just
so much more intense. There'll be
Yeah,
a much bigger onus
Racing.
on getting
That's the name of the
that
game.
first
Win or lose,
opening
put up a
factor of a
show.
victory.
Fine.
So we'll get plenty of
And let's
excitement
race.
and lots of drama next time out when we come again to the Custom Racewear Formula 3 series. I've enjoyed it. I hope you all have as well.
Definitely. And of course, the remainder of the calendar will be the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal on the 6th of June, and Circuit Park Zandvoort hosts the season finale on the 13th of June. On behalf of Jake Sanson and myself, Alex Goldschmidt, we bid you good evening from the Custom Racewear Formula 3 iRacing Championship, brought to you in association with Downforce Racing, Go Bobby UK, sponsored by Simitech Simulation Technologies. Thanks for watching.
There is no terrible way to win. There is only winning.
Let me drive. I'll make a fool out of you. Every one of us has to find a reason to do this. You do it because you're driven.
I was beginning to think I'd never be anything more than a piston-happy lead-foot punk. Then this starts to happen.
Somebody put it in your mind you're going to be perfect every